Did you do that?
Ah, there we are. Okay, hi everybody.
Hey, we're back.
Guess what? It's Sunday night.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Well, we were just talking about the antique business. We've been actually doing it over 25 years. Start out as just because we really liked old stuff and kind of collected a few things like that old truck up there and
yeah, that was your
that was mine from I got that in 1970. That's when I started collecting antiques. I think I got my second one in 1990 something, but
yeah.
but you know, it started out just as kind of like a hobby or something because we both had
We
pretty
were
hardcore had jobs,
no.
other jobs.
We were broke. And what we would do for entertainment
Yeah.
is go to the antique stores and just kind of look, remember?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. 'Cause
Yeah. And that's really was interesting because that's how we learned.
Yeah.
We didn't know we were learning, but that's really how we learned about
Uh,
antiques.
So we decided to try, try it, and it became fun, and then it became work. But it's always been kind of fun, even when it was hardest work.
Yeah. I doubt if we'll ever quit. We still have a good business in antiques, and I don't know. I don't think we know how to stop doing it. I
No,
guess that's one addiction that, just might
Yeah.
might stay with
My
us.
veins itch.
Yeah. We love to go on that hunt. So it's kind of exciting because the next chapters we go into that a lot.
Yeah, we talk about our life, and it's been a good life. It's been a really good life.
Okay.
Okay.
Are we gonna
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start. And now that you're all excited for us with us, and we're going to be reading chapters 39 and 40 from our book, In Spite of Us: A Love Story About Second Chances. If you haven't bought this book or would like to, whatever, it's available in lots of places. Any bookstore can order it. You can go to our local library and check it out. Inklings has it, Amazon, they got it in Kindle form. Yeah.
Or you can watch us on
You can
YouTube
stay with us for
and start with chapter 1 and catch up and
Yeah.
and hear our version of our book
yeah.
with backstory.
Yeah. And every once in a while, we're going to have a drawing for this book, Chicken Soup for the Soul, 101 Feel-Good Stories. Laughter is the best medicine. And why we chose this book is because one of my favorite authors, my wife, Deb, has a story published in this book. And when we, and to be eligible for this, a copy of this, all you got to do is share
Share it on Facebook.
Share it on Facebook.
Okay, and you don't have to share it while we're live. You
Yeah.
can share it later,
Yeah.
and we'll check.
Yeah.
And it's better if you share and comment because it's easier for us to find out that you did that, and then we put your name on a list,
Yeah.
and then we will have a drawing. So,
Yeah.
and we don't have a lot of books left, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
If you want one, you've got a good
Okay.
chance to get one though.
And before we go ahead and read a couple chapters of our book this week, I'm going to read a review
We do that every
of
week.
of our book. That and this one is a Amazon review by a lady named Kim. It says, One of my favorite books to date. This is one of the best books I've read. So funny, with lessons in pressing forward even when times are tough, and how God's redemption and love can heal us and help us move forward. Thank you for those kind words, Kim. And
Okay, so are we ready? Okay, so I'm going to start with chapter 39 tonight.
yes.
I didn't interrupt you, did I?
No.
No, okay. So I'll tell you a little bit. This is like we flash forward now. The last chapter that I read last week, I really hit another bottom. Being sober without replacing what that alcohol did for me is not easy because you don't know how to cope with anything. And so I was pretty much nuts. And I couldn't take it anymore. We were fighting all the time. And so last week you heard that I ended up at a mental health center trying to get some medication. But then the medication turned me bright red. And so that didn't work out either. So I didn't see any other choice but to check out it with 8, even though I hadn't had a drink in 8 years now. Okay, we flash forward. I've been sober 8 years. But I'm crazy. And so I end up, as you'll see in the book, in AA now. Okay. And so that's what my chapter is about. But more importantly and more exciting is that in this season, you're going to start to see how God pursued me. He pursued me hard to a point that it was comical. I mean, he was everywhere. And the chapter makes me a little uncomfortable. I'm still very hard on Christians. And you'll see that in this chapter. I'm very judgmental of Christians, and I have some preconceived ideas of who they are. And so how God brings things around for me is, it still fascinates me. It still just warms my heart to think that we have a God who goes to so much minute detail in things to speak to me, to make me listen, to soften my heart, to bring me around. I mean, it's pretty amazing. So also, before we start, and here's an advance apology to my lack of knowledge of the Bible at this point in the book. And you'll see that. But, what can I say? I was trying. So the other thing that's in this book that begins the fun is what we were talking about before we started this, is that now's when we start really getting into antiques. So here we go. Okay, chapter 39. You keep saying that. Are you sure? When I said the words, I hoped for relief, a sense of closure to my insanity. Instead, the words floated around the room with nowhere to rest. My name's Deb. I'm an alcoholic. As I tell my story, the voice in my head screams, "Shut up." I want to keep it simple, like Veni, Vidi, Vici, only instead of I came, I saw, I conquered, I drank, I quit, I'm fine now. The faces at the table look like our cat, Slim, when I try to treat her like a dog. I confess to being sober, or dry, for the past 8 years. All eyes glaze over under one giant group frown. Even my quest to score meds turned into a bizarre circus. Why did I get the self-absorbed, confused psychiatrist instead of the normal, stable old man, glasses on nose, saying stuff like, "It's okay, dear. Everything will be fine"? And why did my magic bean leave me the color of cherry Kool-Aid, supercharged like a chatty Cathy doll on speed? Once again, I'm left behind, waving bon voyage to all America as they pop a pill, floating off to Chill Island. So here I sit in an AA meeting, attempting to explain the sober alcoholic clause. Do I care if I meet the base requirements to join their little club? Not really. I loathe the cliches, the constant self-ass patting for not doing something stupid yet today, and the guy whining about his ex-wife. Yet I want what they have. Well, what a few seem to have. A God they believe in. Serenity. Hope. There must be a way to get what they have without hanging out with them. All I know is I don't know diddly, and I have nowhere else to go. I got a sponsor nicknamed Little Sue, a friend from Al-Anon. She's a cocktail like me. 2 fingers AA with an Al-Anon mixer, a splash of ACOA, and a little crazy on a toothpick. If you're not familiar with those terms, I'll simplify it for you. It's the trifecta of the disease of alcoholism. AA deals with the alcoholic. Al-Anon deals with all the others harmed by the alcoholic. ACOA is specifically for those who've lived under the chaos of alcoholic parents. Crazy is a bonus for winning the trifecta. The first time I meet with Little Sue, I'm certain she tries to scare me off. I don't blame her. Who wants to take on the difficult cases? I hope Difficult Deb is not my destined nickname. We're jumping ahead to step 11 for a moment, she says, sliding the big book my way while reciting the step. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. She seems to be waiting for me to respond. I don't hear a question in there, so I keep quiet. If I'm to be your sponsor, you'll be looking into the Bible. If that's not okay with you, we won't be a good fix. I laugh. Lately, I've felt like a cartoon character stalked by Bible thumpers jumping out from every corner. Since we've opened our antique store in Ellensburg, I'm at the mercy of my customers 7 days a week. I'm trapped behind the counter, forced to listen to tales of their ceramic pig collection, annoying neighbors, upcoming gallbladder surgery, and God. One day, a blonde trio approaches the counter, a young mom holding the hand of a toddler, dragging an antique doll across the floor. The porcelain doll appears to be the one from the glass case with the $300 price tag and sign reading, "Please do not touch." "I'm a Christian," says the mom. "Would you take $25 for this doll? My little girl really wants it. We're Christians and can't afford to pay more than that." I did not say the words begging to spill out. I didn't even say the G-rated version. Listen, you presumptuous idiot. I don't hold Christians in high regard or think by any means that you are better than anyone else. I really tried. I see she likes the doll, but there's no way I can sell a $300 doll for $25. Pointing at her child, she continues, but we can only pay $25. Wouldn't you consider it because we are Christians? I remind myself to be kind. I'm sorry, I begin, but hearing the lie unleashes my indignation. You know what, dear heart? If I could adjust my prices that easily, I'd charge Christians double. Why? Because they think they're entitled and better than everybody else. So have a wonderful day and God bless you. I fight the urge to chase her down the sidewalk with the furthermores. Instead, red-faced, I pick the doll up off the floor, finger comb the mussed hair, and return it to the shelf next to the please don't touch sign. Back at the counter, another woman approaches me. Her hands are empty, so I assume she's overheard the drama and wants to take a shot at me. I feel like I've just slapped the face of Tiny Tim. God bless us, everyone. Only in my version, I snag a doll from the weak hands of a deprived little girl. I'm a Christian too, she starts. I'm wondering what's going on. They're circling like the lions in that Bible story. I'm bleeding and they're moving in for the kill. Before I spring with a defense, she finishes her sentence. And I want you to know that we are not all like that woman. I'm sorry she did that. It was very un-Christian-like. I like this woman with the kind face. Since that drama, she, Patrick, stops by daily. It seems our store is on her walk route. She listens, even when I spit vile opinions. Best of all, she's not perfect. Sure, imperfection is common, but she's actually aware of the ailment. I've never met a Christian like her. I worked with a guy at People for People who had puffy, sprayed, stiff televangelist hair. He had plenty of time to dampen spirits with news of the fast approaching end times, but if you were choking on a chicken bone, drowning, or in need of a kind word, he'd hurry on by. Christians are either crazy or jerks. You know I'm right, Patrick. Well, Deb, I'm a Christian. You keep saying that. Are you sure? Around the same time, yet another oddball surfaces at the store named Monty. We became fast friends, our bond being a distinct distaste for Christians. He has more rotten things to say about them than me, yet he speaks of Jesus like someone I might actually like. I got to know Monty when one of my customers told me I should keep an eye on him because he looked like the type that would steal. Although we'd never spoken more than a few sentences of polite customer-clerk exchange, I knew this humble, quiet man was no thief or threat. She, like many others, judged his blonde hair traipsing down his back, open shirt, and bull ring in one ear. One conversation with him would reveal the gentlest soul on earth. So I lied to the presumptuous finger-pointing woman in a voice loud enough for Monty to hear. Excuse me? That man is my dearest friend and the most honest person I know. She slithered out the door, justifying her accusations with, I didn't know, I was just trying to help. Monty approached the counter. I apologize for her, I said. It's okay. I'm used to it. It happens all the time. Thus our friendship began. We hang out, sipping tea between customers, bashing Christians, and discussing Jesus. Soon after, Monty became a store fixture. My next door business neighbor, Anne, pays me a visit. The sign above her store reads Ed's Refrigeration Service, but it is a loosely dubbed antique store known for dust-covered clutter. He's evil, she says, racing into my store just as Monty left out back. That man with that hair and no shirt, I know things about him. I try to shine light on her darkness, but she isn't having any of that. I never told Monty about her visit, but we shared many laughs at her expense. Besides dust, she's known around town for her end-of-time sales techniques. Her favorite, placing fake $20 bills on the floor, lurking behind a pile of junk until a customer picks it up, then jumping out yelling, "Aha!" After giving a lecture on the evils of money, she smiles, handing them a doomsday preparation brochure. Truth is, she's great for our business, sending shaken victims through our door seeking protection and an explanation. Looking back, I should not have been surprised that my AA sponsor was in on the helter-skelter Christian encounters. I thought I'd be fed the same lingo I'd heard around the tables. No one there speaks of Bible or Jesus. So my coffee date with Little Sue caught me off guard. And even more alarming was my response to her order to read the Bible. Okay, I can do that. Makes sense. Funny thing, I have 2 new Bibles. One from Patrick and another from Monty. Sadly, it's like reading a foreign language. Yada, beget, yada, yada, beget, yada, thou shalt, yada, yada. I found one part I understood, but I couldn't believe what was happening. It was that creep, Lot, who wants to protect his sons, so he says, "Hey, take my daughter and do whatever you want with them." What? I hate that guy. I am so upset. I call Little Sue moments after reading it. She listens to my paraphrase of the story, cutting me off mid-rant. Okay, I don't think you're ready to read the Old Testament alone. You're not really comprehending the context. Please stay in the New Testament for now. Well, is that Lot guy in the New Testament? No. How are you doing with the big book? Are you journaling on your 4th step? That's the one that says, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves, right? Well, I've been thinking on it. I haven't written anything down yet. Next week, I want you ready to share your inventory with me, okay? Okay.
Thanks, sweetie. That, yeah. My thoughts from the chapter that I'm going to read and from what Deb read, my first thoughts are something I heard a long, long time ago in an AA meeting, and somebody referred to, about quitting drinking, and they said, "What are you going to replace it with?" And yeah, untreated alcoholism is, you treat alcoholism with alcohol, or you replace it with something. And if you're lucky, God becomes that replacement. And but you still have an addictive behavior, and a lot of the stuff we do and have done shows our addictive behaviors, and yeah, our business, our our home, everything gets attacked head on. So I'm going to read chapter 40. Impending doom lingers. The icy wind and slanted rain elicits a benign shiver as we walk out the door. Lately, it takes more than bleak weather to dampen our mood. We've just eaten mugu gai pan and spicy chicken sauté, our Friday night splurge at the Jade Tree restaurant. Stepping onto the sidewalk, we see an elderly man staggering, pulling away from the helpful arm of his wife like a rebellious 2-year-old or a standard drunk. His wife's look of concern turns to shame as he stumbles, falling onto the sidewalk. I grapple with the guy, getting him to his feet. Deb consoles the woman. Leaning the old sot against a Ford truck, I see the woman grab Deb's arm, pleading a favor, pointing a finger behind me. Deb rolls her eyes at me, following direction of the finger toward the rear tires of the truck. With wrinkled nose and outstretched arm, she bends down, retrieving a set of smirking false teeth. They must have flown from the drunk's mouth when he fell. The wife weaves over to the truck, revealing her own inebriation. She continues issuing orders with her fingers, pointing for Deb to place the teeth in her handbag. Dutifully, Deb plops them into the purse, sighing at the sound of the clicking clasp. We wave goodbye to the couple, nodding off in the back seat of the cab. Then Deb speaks.
Next time, I'm the muscle, you can fetch and carry the dentures.
Chilled, we race to our car. Deb presses next to me, turns the heat knob, blasting cold air from the heater, content with the expectation of heat.
That could have been us someday,
she whispers. I know. The drive home remains still, pondering the ghost of Christmas future. We could easily be that couple, sad old drunks left to fend for themselves. Children long gone, bled dry of all hope. Forgiveness expired. Grandchildren kept away safe from the consequences. Contact with drunk grandparents would certainly gain. There by the grace of God goes us. A gratitude lesson delivered by a couple of lifer alcoholics. Life is good. I'm doing what I've always wanted, helping youth. With daily doses of kudos from my boss Joyce, my confidence is healing. She believes in me. When a tough case comes across her desk, she tosses it my way, knowing I'm up for the task. Let someone else handle the potentially problematic child. I'll take a truckload of hooligans. The so-called hopeless, hardcore kids no one else wants. They're mine. No matter what they've done or might do tomorrow, I'm their eager advocate. They're the victims expected to thrive in a crazy world, ruled by choices and consequences of those who haphazardly screwed them into existence. Like John, a 7-year-old who slings cuss words like a construction worker who's just hammered his thumb. I met with John the first time at his school. As we walked across the playground discussing Legos, a boy with bushy hair trips and falls in front of us, spilling a bag of marbles onto the grass. With a politician's ease, John bends down, scoops up a handful of marbles, slipping them into his pocket. Nary a pause and chatter. When he takes a breath, I mention the marbles he's fiddling with in his pocket. What about the cat eyes, the one that belonged to that other kid? They're mine, he stares dryly. He's one of 6 children under the reign of a physically and emotionally abusive dad. John is a designated bad kid. Target for the woe is me wrath dealt by a career welfare dad. John steals. He runs off at least twice a week. He disrespects his teachers. Who wouldn't? I'd love to slap the parents upside the head. That's why I hang out with them at school, meeting with parents when forced. I can't undo a lifetime of wrongs suffered and adopted as how things are done. My hope and energy goes to the kids whose hearts and minds have not yet closed for eternity. My patience for the parents is tested as tolerance. A few weeks ago, late at night, I got a call from a mom screaming, "Get this kid out of here before I kill him!" The scratchy, high-pitched wail belonged to the mom of another chronic troublemaker, Royce, a great kid who acts out with good reason. Like John, he carries the family's basket of blame. I arrive at his house 12 minutes after the call, unprepared for the jolt of cat pee greeting my nostrils at the door. Entering, I expect a herd of incontinent cats, but none came forward to confess. Roy sits on a wooden chair, head down, stabbing his leg with his right fist, touching thumb to digits on his left hand, as if counting. I bend to sit on the sofa next to his chair, seeing blurs of moment, realizing it's infested with cockroaches.
Movement. Nothing.
Of movement. The mom flips on a light, scattering roaches up the wall, behind floorboards, under rugs. One runs over the top of my shoe. It was large enough to feel its weight, leaving me wondering if they'd been dining on the incontinent cats. Dancing a clumsy jig, holding my breath so as not to gag on the odor, I wave the mom off as politely as I can while directing Royce out the door. Once outside, I take a breathing break while he hops into my van, turning knobs and pushing buttons. For the next hour and a half, we drive 100 miles, talking, stopping to stretch, eat ice cream, and pee, landing at the therapeutic hospital in the Tri-Cities. It's a lockdown facility, not ideal, but better than home, with no threats, name-calling, or face slaps. This isn't a job for everyone, but it fits. Finally doing what I've always wanted, helping youth, make a difference, a purpose, a reason to exist. The paycheck is a bonus, a needed one, but still. Meanwhile, at home, Deb works AA like everything else, pushing, yanking, forcing a fit like the old square peg in the round hole cliche. I hope it's helping. She's like the ant pushing a huge crust of bread up a hill. Is she happy? Content? Hell, I don't know. She zips between our business, family, us, and the new mountain to scale, AA. The program is yet another wannabe check mark on her to-do list. I wish she'd find rest in something. Even faith seemed to be a job to master. Still, life is better than a few months ago when she ran out of solutions. Our marriage is crazy, fun, dangerous, exhilarating, and exhausting. The competitive race of the antiques business fits right into the whirlwind, triggering the addict in us both. Neither of us planned to have a thriving business. We kept one foot out the door, waiting to exit before the business failed. It was a simple, safe business plan. Buy a $5 beat-up duck, merchandise, sell it for $10. Buy a $10 better duck, sell it for $20. Buy a $20 stellar duck and sell it for $40. And so on until all our ducks stood in a row, from cheap to exquisite. As the store grew in popularity, sales warranted hiring help for weekends, leaving us with time to hunt more ducks. I understand a good bargain, the quality found in antique furniture, and the historical interest. And although I admire Deb's era-specific vignettes, I don't understand the buyers they attract. I maintain a Mantiques booth in the back of the store where I sell vintage auto parts, fishing and hunting items, poker chips, beer signs. I simply offer great deals on cool stuff. My sales are good, but Deb is a magician. I had this tackle box overflowing with top of the line fishing gear for $12, a steal. One day I mentioned my frustration that it had not sold. Deb dumps all the stuff, places the tackle box next to some garden gloves, planters, and flower seeds, and it sells that day for $24. What planet do these buyers come from? Another time, Dad and I are at the store building a stand to display 300 pounds of architectural pieces. They form a caduceus, spared from a demolished medical building in Yakima. I'm balancing the largest piece while Dad measures. I hear the clicking of high heels approaching. Turning to see an attractive woman in red lipstick wearing a 1950s polka dot dress. Helpless, we watch as she snags Dad's work stool from behind us, pressing it to her chest as if she's been reunited with a ransomed baby. Oh my God, this is adorable. How much is it? At the time, Dad had little exposure to the alien customers. Removing the stool from her arms, he grumbled something about his work stool, shooing the clicking high heels away. We spent all day building the stand, placing it in the window at the exact angle specified by Deb. While Dad and I drove the 40 minutes home to Yakima, it sold. We're a pair of junk junkies chasing down the goods on weekends, and whenever opportunity allows, Fridays, we often skip town minutes after I finish up at work. Recently, we headed south toward Pendleton, Oregon. Along the way, we explore every backwoods town, quizzing locals for estate sales and auctions. Saturday around midnight, we're headed home, van loaded with finds. Deb driving while I sleep, meaning exhaustion outweighed the fear of getting lost. I awake, thinking I'd dreamed about one of the auctions we attended earlier in the day.
Look what I found in the middle of nowhere,
she says, pointing.
We're in Umatilla. I saw the auction signs at the exit.
I'm beat up from the junking marathon and need sleep. I admit her stamina trumps mine. I'm about to tell her to get back on the freeway when I hear the auctioneer. Who'll open with $5 on this Hubley Packard sedan toy car from the 1940s? Whoa, hurry, I say. While Deb secures bidding paddles, I race in, arm in the air. 3 hours later, we're back on the road, 4 boxes of junk tied to the top of our van. Sundays, we swear off the madness, planning to slow down. By Friday, we're certain self-control is attainable, and so it goes. Besides stocking the store, we're furnishing our 4-bedroom Craftsman home for pennies. Every stick of furniture in our house has a story, and the tales change as we trade up. We've owned 4 mohair sofas, each one dubbed by Deb as the one, until the other, the one, sends the former off to the store. I'm glad she's not as fickle in romance as she is with sofas. One of my favorite keepers is a 1950s range, beaming with chrome and a dash with buttons and knobs, worthy of a jet plane, costing a whopping $35. Even Deb's wardrobe is supplied by our business. We both enjoy hearing the compliments like, "Great jacket," knowing we scored it for a couple of bucks. It's a gambler's rush, and we are hopelessly addicted. We're happy, sober, yet oddly enough, that familiar feeling of impending doom lingers. Well, there's our 2 chapters for this week. Remember, you can our book, In Spite of Us, a love story about second chances, is available at Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Target, your local bookstore, library.
And I have posted the link on Facebook here that you can get to YouTube if you want to start with chapter 1 and go back and listen to us read all the chapters with the backstory.
Yeah.
So.
And so remember to like us and be eligible for a book.
Share.
Yeah, share. Share the like thing. I'm the tech guy.
Yeah.
So that's it for August.
Oh, goodness.
Wow.
Okay, see you in
Thanks for being
September.
here.
Next
Yeah.
week, Sunday night, 7
Good
o'clock.
night.
See ya.